Okay, so we're going to be talking about the tooth numbering today. So we're going to talk a little bit about the permanent dentition first, how we number it, and then how we would determine which tooth we're looking at. So this is the permanent dentition. I'm going to see if I can zoom in a little bit more here. All right, so we're always going to start from the right to the left, left to the right. So here we have the upper arch and the lower arch. So we always start on the right hand side with 1 to 16, then 17 to 32. Okay, so we go clockwise in counting. So tooth number 1 would be our third molar. I know that doesn't make sense. So it's third molar, second molar, first molar, second premolar, first premolar, canine, lateral incisor, central incisor. And then the same thing going this way. We get to the central, lateral, canine, first premolar, second premolar, first molar, second molar, third molar. So the way we determine, the way that these are named are from the midline and out, okay? So whatever tooth you come to first in the midline, with regard to the premolars and the molars, are going to be named first and second, third, okay? So first, second, third. Same thing down here. So we first go 1 through 16, then drop down 17 through 32, always end up back on the right hand side of the mouth. So when we're doing some numbering exercises, and you may not be able to completely read this this paper, but I'll read it to you as well. So which tooth number is the mandibular left first premolar? So we would go ahead and count. So we know that we're on the lower left because we're on the mandible. So it's 1 through 16. Then we drop down here and it's the left mandibular first premolar. So we're going to have 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 is on the left hand side is the first premolar. Remember first, second, third, but we're counting clockwise, and so we'll hit the first premolar at 21. Okay, so this answer here would be 21. This is the universal numbering system, so permanent teeth are 1 through 32. Which tooth number is the maxillary right first molar? So now we're going to be back up here, maxillary right hand side. Don't forget, when you're looking at somebody, you're looking at them in a mirror and not in a mirror image. So they're going to be, your left is going to be their right. So right hand side, maxillary right first molar. So we start, even if they don't have their first molars, we're going to start with number 2. Okay, that is something that you need to keep in mind. So if we don't have our first molars as our third molars, as most people don't, we're going to start with number 2. So if this was missing, we'd say 2, 3, 4, 5. We would still count that this was here. Okay, so we said the first molar is number 3. So we do 1, 2, 3. Here's number 3. It's the maxillary right first molar. So this would be number 3. So hopefully you get the idea of that. Again, 1 through 16, 17 through 32. That's going to be the hardest to remember and learn. Just practice what makes perfect, and it'll take you some time, but you'll get it down pretty quickly. Okay? Next, we're going to talk about the primary dentition with the universal numbering system. So here is our primary dentition. It is not numbered, but it is rather lettered with capital letters A through J, K through T. Okay, we still count in a clockwise position, and we are going to start with letter A, which is the maxillary right second molar. Then we have the first molar. We don't have premolars in the primary dentition. We start with the canine, lateral incisor, central, lateral, canine, first molar, second molar. Then we drop down here. Okay, so here's our right hand side, and here is our left-hand side. So we're going to basically do our ABCs. So it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T. Okay, so I remember AJ and KT. So it sounds like a boy's and girl's name, AJ and Katie. A through J is the top, K through T is the bottom. Okay? So again, this is our first molar, second molar, and then first molar, second molar. Whatever you come to from the midline out, that's our first and second. But we still count in a clockwise way here. Okay? Same thing if you have a mixed dentition and there's certain numbers that are, or letters that are missing, you would just pretend that it was there or write down the number of the tooth that actually was there. Okay? So that is the primary dentition. So let's practice a few here. What tooth letter is the maxillary right first molar? Okay, so maxillary right first molar. So we start here. This is the right side. We're on the maxillary arch. Here's our first molar. It's letter B. Okay, because it's A, B. So here's letter B. Which tooth letter is the mandibular right central incisor? So we find here central incisor on the right hand side. Here's our central incisor. Here's P. Okay. Something that might be helpful for you to learn the numbers quicker so you don't have to start from A and then count all the way through if you have to get to T, for example, is memorize a couple of the corner teeth. So some people like to memorize the canines, that way they can count forward or backward from them easily. Some people like to know the first molars. Some people know this. I like to learn the central incisors and then count out from there if I need to. Same thing with here. So if you memorize, for example, that central incisors are 8 and 9 and 24, 25, you can count back out from there. Okay. So that's something that you might be able to do with more practice. And that is the universal numbering system.